Another strong recommendation that came from the 1947 Educational Conference had to do with teacher training. The country was about 4 months old in December 1947. Even if there were teachers, who knows? Were they trained, not trained? If teachers had to be recruited, who should be recruited as teachers? Anybody with a certain level of education from the then British India? How was it supposed to go about? So these people again showed one more time that vision helps. Teacher training was seen as an important recommendation made by this august body in 1947. Teacher training means how do teachers go into classrooms and teach? What do they do? How do they do it? Simply having a bachelor's degree at that time in a certain discipline would tell you a lot about areas of that discipline. The content knowledge with the teachers would be very good. It's the professional knowledge. What do you do with that content knowledge in a classroom, which was seen to be missing? And so, how do you bring individuals interested in teaching to teach the right way? So, teacher training was put forward, and teacher training was put forward across the board. All provinces had to be involved in teacher training. So, obviously, a program had to be set up, certain requirements had to be looked at, consultation had to be done. What did the teachers know, and who in that young nation of December 1947 was going to be able to deliver this training? That was another important aspect to look at. Anybody could not have come and said, well, here I am going to do the training for your teachers. Somebody had to have that prerequisite knowledge to be able to pass it on to others. In fact, this was an extremely good recommendation that would have strengthened Pakistan's educational system and process in the long run. But as we see, it probably was not taken that seriously in the months following the 1947 conference. And people probably forgot about it for a long time. We will see it come back in another education policy years later, but right now it was a recommendation, a good recommendation, but unfortunately it was not followed through. Training for good citizenship was also important. Individuals suddenly were not now citizens of India, so to say. They were citizens of Pakistan. What was good citizenship? What do citizens do? What were the rights? What were the duties? What were the privileges of individuals being citizens of Pakistan? And so, how do you develop good citizenship among students? And so, a whole area of civic education needed to be framed in light of Islamic principles and teachings, in light with what was seen at that time as contemporary trends in citizenship and in the modern world of that period. Again, this was a good decision because unless we promoted and created good citizens, good human beings, good individuals who understood not only what to demand from their country, but also understood what to give back to their country. Citizenship is a two-way street. You can't be at the receiving end only, you also have to be at the giving end. That was, again, foresight and vision by the individuals involved in the 1947 conference. Setting up of an inter-university board. At that time, in this young nation of Pakistan that was about 4 months old, there were hardly any universities, but there were. There were universities in Sindh, there were universities in Punjab, in Balochistan, and in the frontier. How were these universities now? The conference even went beyond secondary education and looked at tertiary education, which again was a good point. The conference looked at the entire spectrum from primary through secondary through tertiary. How were the universities going to work together in the 4 different provinces and help forge national unity? This was to happen through the inter-university board, where representatives from the different university would make up the board, and they would be the functioning body for this board, who would then make sure that tertiary education throughout Pakistan was of the same quality.